Greetings YouTube, and welcome to a video that I've been pumped to make all day because the number one question I've received today, and it is quite fitting for today, is should I go for Heimdall? Specifically, should I go for those 300 unit apiece Grandmaster featured crystals, or if I am unit poor or cash poor, should I try to grind for this guy in the arena? Now, full disclosure, I do not have him. I am going to go for him in 2 weeks when the Korg Heimdall crystals come out, because I'm most excited about Korg, given that he has synergy with one of my top 5 favorite champs to play with, and that's Iceman. But Heimdall is still the character, the champion, that if I polled, and actually I did poll the community when we found out who the 3 August champions were going to be, it wasn't even close. Everybody was hyped up about this guy, and he should be the true strike god of MCOC. So we're going to take a look at his specs, and just simply from the specs that Kabam put out on their forums, which did come to you in the in-game inbox when it talked about the champion spotlight being on this guy, you too can look at this as well as, in this video, in case you don't like to read, because sometimes people just don't like to read. So this is Heimdall, the true champion spotlight, and we want you to know that Heimdall is one of the greatest warriors of Asgard. Heimdall was appointed guardian of the Rainbow Bridge for all time, not to be confused with the Rainbow Bridge of Mario Kart, right? That's certainly what I most understand about rainbow bridges. His eyes can see all of creation, and his ears can hear a whisper from anywhere in the 9 realms, which means you better not cuss at your grandma, y'all. Heimdall has many times saved Asgard, detecting threats long before they can become a danger, and either dispatching the threat himself or sounding, and I always mispronounce this name. It's like, I'm not even going to try, because I know no matter what, it's going to be wrong. To call forth the other defenders of Asgard. And I know all the people are going to comment the correct pronunciation. I will do my best to practice it. Thank you in advance for not judging my lack of ability to read that word. Okay, so health 16,000, attack 1,000, max PI, blah, blah, blah. So what I really care about most when I'm looking at champions are a few things. Now, Cosmic's pretty cool. Cosmic's already a great class, right? You got Medusa, you got Hyperion, and then you've got the new champions that are really making Cosmic even better, like Corvus and Proxima, and even someone like Angela, who we will get to in a bit with synergies, is pretty darn amazing. Okay, so the base stats are based off of a rank 5 4-star, 550, and we know when striking or being blocked by an opponent, Heimdall gains a passive Fury charge. On reaching 100 charges, they convert into a Fury buff, increasing attack by 209, lasting 10 seconds, which is pretty impressive. Heimdall's Fury and Armor Ups build at the same rate, gaining 16 charges when striking the opponent. Okay, when struck by or blocking an opponent's attack, Heimdall gains passive armor charges. On reaching 100 charges, they convert into an Armor Up buff, increasing armor by 857, lasting 10 seconds. So the developer wants us to know that Heimdall will only trigger Armor Ups in response to you striking either him or his block, which is kind of interesting. While charging his heavy attack, remove 1 active Fury, Armor Up, Precision, or Aptitude buff triggered by Heimdall's abilities and replace it with one with an infinite duration. Heimdall can have a maximum of 5 of these buffs at a time. That's also interesting. You can only convert 1 buff per heavy attack, but it converts as soon as your heavy starts, whether you hit or not. Heimdall tries to convert buffs in a specific order: Aptitude, then Precision, then Fury, then Armor Up. I have not been this confused since I read Taskmaster's info, and I'm going to be honest, I still feel like I'm going to need to pass like Calculus 4 to really master Taskmaster, which is why I just think I'm going to pass on that. Alright, so passive. Every time he activates a special attack, Heimdall gains a permanent True Strike buff. Now, that is so huge. True Strike, if you do not know, is the #1 resource to fight off auto blocks, like Modoc's auto block and Medusa's auto block specifically. Auto block sucks, and it is the new mechanic in MCOC that's really driving so many Alliance War bosses. And so the better champs with True Strike, the better you'll do in Alliance War, especially against someone like a Medusa boss or a Modoc boss. So yay for True Strike champions, and this is also why Heimdall has been called the True Strike God already in the contest. Of course, it's not that hard when you're competing against people like Karnak, but I digress. While True Strike is active, Heimdall's attacks cannot be avoided with dexterity. He can trigger the parry mastery against projectiles and has a 25% chance to auto-block basic attacks. This will trigger parry. So 25% chance is certainly better than 100% chance in terms of Alliance War, but that also, with the auto-block mechanic, means he might still be pretty effective on some nodes in Alliance War as well. Be careful when swinging into a Heimdall with True Strike. Try and clear the True Strike with a special or heavy attack first, or just have a stagger waiting to insta-clear it. Also, give him a wide berth when he triggers his special attacks, as you won't be able to dexterity away from them. Not a big deal with his special 1, as it's all melee, but his special 2 has a projectile in it, and as some of you have seen from certainly like the uncollected Heimdall, it can be very difficult, if not impossible, to dodge that projectile, though I have noticed when I block it, it doesn't really do that much damage, at least not more than your health with a high-ranking 5-star. Special 1, Hofund. Heimdall wields his Uru sword. Hofund with powerful sweeping blows, combining his natural strength with enhancements woven into the blade by Odin himself. We've seen this already in the monthly quests. It's pretty darn easy to avoid. In fact, spamming his special 1 is really what I would recommend if you haven't fought him yet and you don't want to get him to that unblockable special 2. 100% chance to armor break the opponent once for each Fury buff, more than armor buff currently active on Heimdall, blah, blah, blah. Heimdall's armor break won't grant him additional damage while his True Strike is active and is ignoring his opponents. Okay, so we know his special 2, channeling the cosmic power of the stars themselves. Heimdall unleashes a blast of blue flame with terrifying power. 100% chance to be unblockable if you have at least 1 armor up buff. That is where you get into trouble when fighting this champion. This is also why you really want to watch his power meter so you don't get that special 2 in the face. Just keep spamming him into, or baiting him into doing the special 1. Okay, so I want to skip all the way down to his synergies. This is really going to answer the question, should you go for this person, because you watching this know better than I do who your best champions are. So, all champions except Heimdall once per fight. Heimdall will intercede on your behalf the first time you would be knocked out. Gain both an indestructible and an unstoppable buff, which lasts for 2 seconds. This kind of reminds me of Hela, although in some ways better. Warriors of Asgard, Thor, Thor Ragnarok, and my boy, Loki. So that is really cool. I still wish that Thor was pre-patch 12.0 because you want to talk about an amazing synergy. The fact that he's a 4-star, it's going to be hard to really bring him into Alliance War attack given the current state of the 5-star and 6-star health pools. But Thor Ragnarok maybe, and certainly Loki as well. So all champions of Heimdall, once per fight, Heimdall will intercede on your behalf, dash back, and hold block for 1.5 seconds to regenerate 15% of missing health. 15% is pretty darn significant when you have champions that aren't used to regenerating health. Now, Angela and Hela are both awesome for this. Hela continues to be such a valuable champ even after her nerf. All champions except Heimdall, once per fight, Heimdall will intercede on your behalf, dash back, and hold block for 1.5 seconds to get an infinite duration Fury buff, increasing attack by 15%. Magic Guillotine. So I have been told on the stream that I just finished up that Magic is especially OP for this when you have that 15% base attack increase on the Fury buff. So if you love Magic and you already have Magic, this is a fantastic champion to go for the synergy. Guillotine is also someone that kind of like is a Void 1.0 in terms of using the special 2 to convert regen to degen. So if you really like Guillotine, and some people have been messaging me today saying that Guillotine is their best champion, Heimdall might be somebody that you want to go for even as a 4-star. Certainly we would all like to have him as a 5-star in a perfect world, even though that world is not where we exist. All championships except Heimdall, once per fight, Heimdall will intercede on your behalf, dash back, and hold block for 1.5 seconds to gain an infinite duration precision buff, increasing critical rating by 250. That's pretty cool as well. Okay, so recovery makes sense as a mastery, especially when we talk about regen for his teammates. Precision's always an important. Glass Cannon, I still say, is important no matter who is in your lineup. And strong matchups. Spider-Man Classic. Still somebody that I see as a mini Alliance War boss in every single Alliance War that I have played in this season so far. Heimdall's ability to keep True Strike up for most of the fight allows him to counter your friendly neighborhood evader, even in a stun, debuff, immune fight. Keep in mind that should also include Nightcrawler, who is a true pain to fight in Alliance War. Iron Man Infinity War. How many people hate to fight him, right? Everybody. Tough combination of abilities, but Heimdall can place multiple armor breaks to help keep Iron Man from building to his auto block threshold, and True Strike to suppress the auto block if the threshold is reached. That is truly incredible stuff. Again, if you hate to fight Iron Man Infinity War, you might want to go for Heimdall. Another amazing point to add for that champion. Yondu can be a tricky fight for many champions, but his True Strike enhancement to True Strike takes away one of Yondu's most potent defensive tricks by being able to parry stun against projectiles. Wow. I don't know how many champions can do that. That is such a plus. I think Heimdall is especially amazing for newer summoners who haven't perfected fighting against Stark Spidey and evading, say, a special one yet, or Yondu. Wow. This is like a cheat code for those toughest Alliance War mini-bosses. Now, weak matchups, Ronan, who cares? You're not going to fight him much anyways. Mephisto, you could definitely have a problem with Mephisto, but chances are you're not going to be taking him up against Mephisto anyways with that class disadvantage. Dormammu, same thing. He's also a Mystic. And that's it. Just 3 disadvantages. So, I think, so far on paper, Heimdall looks to be somebody that you will so want to go for. And I know some people are uncollected, so the best you can do is a 4-star version, but maybe you can also grind for him in the arena. Who knows? Either way, strongly recommend you at least save up some units, and if you don't get Heimdall, wait and go for him in a couple weeks like I am when Cord comes out, because it's him and then the last special champion, which is Heimdall, that should have the increased RNG in the Grandmaster featured crystal and the regular featured crystal. So I hope this video helps you out. I have started doing this series. I think it's only my 2nd time saying, should you go for this champion and why? Again, if you like, if you use magic and guillotine big time, if you've got Thor or Thor Rag or Angela, all those champions are going to instantly see so much better results with the synergies. Heimdall has some truly incredible synergies. And that's not even taking into account his incredible True Strike, which, as the game continues to evolve and to go to things like Auto Block, True Strike becomes a necessity for your Alliance War attack team, and that is why Heimdall needs to strongly be considered as one of those champions you should go for to enhance your Alliance War attack strategy and save you some deaths and some loss of health against people like not Stark Spidey, but regular Spidey, Nightcrawler, MODOK, Iron Man Infinity War, and yes, still the #1 boss I see time and time again in Alliance War, Medusa. Have a great night, YouTube. Thanks for watching this, and if you're across the pond, good morning. You're probably checking this out with your morning breakfast.